Good morning and Gretchen Hall. We're coming to you on this Tuesday on the 2nd of December, bringing you Morning Matters because your morning's matters get to the stories that matter today. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla is urging Filipinos abroad to assist in the capture of former Congressman Zaldi Ko. Ko is now classified as an international fugitive and is suspected of possessing a Portuguese passport. The House of Representatives imposed a 60-day suspension on Cavite Congressman Kiko Barzaga for his disorderly behavior committed online. Moreover, the House Ethics Committee has threatened to impose more severe sanctions should the congressman repeat the offense. And government agencies held a new round of talks through a technical working group to tackle the recovery of public funds diverted from infrastructure projects. Aboy Paraiso, the chairman of the working group, will be joining us later to provide details. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first in the agenda, authorities are stepping up the manhunt for former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Ko, now believed to be hiding in Europe. Government agencies tighten coordination to track his movements and enforce outstanding arrest warrants. Here's a report.
Authorities believe fugitive and former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Ko is once again hiding in Europe. According to information obtained by Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla, Ko is suspected to have returned to Portugal.
Zaldi Ko is believed to be in Europe, suspected to be in Portugal. He is suspected to have a Portuguese passport acquired so many years ago.
Just over a week ago, the DILG said Ko was last seen in Japan. Before that, he was also reportedly spotted in the United States, Singapore, and several countries in Europe, including Spain and Portugal. Secretary Remulla says Ko holds a European Golden Visa, a type of residency given to foreign nationals who invest in the region. To ensure Ko is finally arrested, Remulla issued an appeal to Filipinos overseas.
Nakikiusap kami sa lahat ng mga Pilipino sa buong mundo na kung makita nila si Zaldi Ko, kung pwede nilang picturean, padala kagad, i-post kagad sa internet para may idea tayo kung nasaan siya. Sa ngayon, ang hinala namin ay nasa Portugal siya at doon po siya naninirahan.
The government is still awaiting Interpol's approval of its request for a red notice against Ko. A blue notice has already been issued to help monitor his movement, but a red notice is needed for his arrest. An arrest warrant has been issued for Ko and 15 officials from DPWH and SunWest, the company he founded in connection with the anomalous flood control project in Oriental Mindoro. 9 of the accused are already in custody. The PNP says they are coordinating with police attachés in the countries where the suspects are believed to be staying. Acting PNP Chief Jose Melencio Nartates says police are ready to enforce any arrest warrant issued by the courts. He also appealed to the public to help locate the remaining suspects in the flood control scandal.
Nananawagan po tayo, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kababayan, whether pro-government or anti-government, lalong-lalo na yung mga nag-rally kahapon, na kung sana kung meron silang impormasyon leading to the arrest of the still at large who are wanted or issued warrant to arrest ay matulungan ng ating mga law enforcers to locate.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian said that the no work, no pay rule does not apply to senators amid questions surrounding the prolonged absence of Senator Bato de la Rosa. Gatchalian stressed, however, that lawmakers are still expected to submit formal letters to justify their absences, especially during budget deliberations. De la Rosa has been absent since the Senate resumed on November 11 after Ombudsman Boy Remulla's announcement that the International Criminal Court had issued a warrant of arrest against him over the Duterte administration's drug war.
Sa pagkaalam ko, walang ganyan na setup sa mga senators. Sa pagkaalam ko, walang ganyan na setup. Ang proper procedure is to send the committee a letter kung bakit ka hindi makaka-attend, a formal letter, no? So magpapadala ng formal letter kung bakit ka hindi makaka-attend. Papadala rin of course si SP ng formal letter kung bakit hindi makaka-attend. Importante itong mga formal letters kasi this will be the official reason kung bakit hindi nakapunta yung senador. No, but in the case of Yung nangyari last time kay Senator Bato, I was just informed by the staff na hindi nga siya makaka-attend. No? So nakiusap siya kung pwede ako na lang mag-defend ng budget.
Meanwhile, DOJ spokesperson attorney Polo Martinez told 1PH sa Totoo Lang that the department has yet to receive any confirmation regarding the reported ICC arrest warrant against the senator.
Wala pa po kasing impormasyon patungkol sa warrant of arrest by the ICC. Alam ko may request for red notice na po for Senator Bato, but as to the warrant, I cannot yet confirm that.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro believes President Marcos is doing well in managing the country's affairs. Now, this was her answer to Pablo Virgilio Cardinal David's challenge to Marcos. In his speech during the trillion peso march on EDSA on Sunday, Cardinal Ambo told the chief executive to stop procrastinating and start embracing command responsibility.
Dahil kayo na rin ang nagsabi sa inyong SONA, mahiya naman kayo. Ang panawagan namin ay simple lang. Magtrabaho naman kayo. Sinimulan na rin lang ninyo itong paglaban sa korupsyon. Patunayan ninyo na lulubos-lubusin ninyo. Hindi na kami papayag na gawin multo ang mga proyektong kailangan para sa pag-unlad ng ating bansa.
Some groups calling for Marcos's resignation also want the president to face the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, and testify on the flood control probe. They believe Marcos is now at the so-called weakest point in his presidency.
At his weakest? Ito ba bang panahon na to? Na siya po ang nagpaimbestiga? Hanggang ngayon po, maraming ginagawang aksyon para mapanagot ang dapat na mapanagot. Ang dami na po na napaaresto, marami na po rin na kinasuhan, marami na po na naibalik na pondo. Ito ba yung weakest?
The Department of Justice said it is not frustrated despite Harry Roque's continuous live interviews from The Hague, Netherlands. DOJ spokesperson attorney Polo Martinez stressed that the agency continues to work professionally and is actively working to bring Roque back to the Philippines. On Roque's asylum request, Martinez noted that non-refoulement does not apply since he is not politically persecuted, though the DOJ will respect the host country's decision. The agency also expressed hope that the host state will honor Philippine court rulings declaring Roque's travel illegal following the cancellation of his passport.
I wouldn't say totally frustrated dahil ano man po yan we're very professional in it. We understand na these things will do happen. So we just exercise the proper means within our own channels, within our own jurisdiction, so that we can do whatever we can, at least within our capacity. Yeah. No, and I think our courts have done that for us already so far. We're just continually working to be able to find more means to locate him and then possibly get him back here to face his charges.
When we return, the government is working to claw back public funds stolen from anomalous infrastructure projects. Technical Working Group Chairman Aboy Paraiso joins us next. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a quick break. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here in One News. Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barzaga has been suspended for 60 days for disorderly behavior online. Here's a report.
The House of Representatives has suspended Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barzaga for 60 days. The House Ethics Committee found Barzaga guilty of disorderly behavior and recommended a suspension without pay. The committee also ordered Barzaga to remove 24 social media posts within 24 hours and warned that harsher penalties could be imposed if similar actions are repeated.
After a thorough deliberation on the case, the committee finds that the actions of Rep. Barzaga in posting incendiary social media content through his Facebook accounts and in retaining and failing to remove publicly viewable, inappropriate, and indecent photos to be unparliamentary and unbecoming of a House member, taken in their entirety, the actions of Rep. Barzaga bring contempt, discredit, and disrepute to the name of the House of Representatives.
The neophyte lawmaker's suspension was approved in a vote of 249 in favor, 5 against, and 11 abstentions. Some congressmen who opposed the suspension said there were more pressing issues to prioritize.
Ang boto ko ay no, lalo na dahil inuuna natin ang kaso niya kaysa sa mga mas seryosong isyung.
Hindi po sa pamamagitan ng aksyong ginawa natin kay Representative Barzaga mababawi ang kredibilidad ng ating institusyon. This move will not help us to move in that direction.
Ano po ba ang mas mabigat na kasalanan? Ang magmiyaw o ang magnakaw? Ano ba ang mas mabigat na kasalanan? Ang mag-video at mag-selfie at mag-post ng pagkadismaya sa gobyerno, ang isang batang congressman? O ang ginawang sistematikong pagnanakaw sa gobyerno?
The punishment stemmed from the complaint filed by National Unity Party President and Antipolo Representative Ronnie Puno, which cited Barzaga's social media posts as vulgar, abusive, and aimed at undermining public trust in government institutions. In his speech, Barzaga appeared to accept the committee's decision, but his microphone was cut off before he could finish. In a later interview with The Big Story, he claimed his microphone was silenced after he began mentioning President Bongbong Marcos.
Medyo natakot sila kasi si Marcos na yung binanggit ko doon, especially since he's the one who's most guilty of this flood control issue.
Barzaga also revealed that he plans to file an impeachment complaint against Marcos, citing a betrayal of public trust as a potential ground.
They are being so defensive because I'm the one who is planning to file an impeachment case on Marcos, and coincidentally, I'm also the one who happens to be suspended. So we're still gathering evidence, not just regarding Marcos's involvement in the flood control, but also his, Senator Amy Marcos's revelation that he is a drug addict, which is detrimental to our country as a whole if we have a drug addict as president.
For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Government agencies held another meeting under a technical working group focused on recovering stolen public funds from infrastructure projects. Independent Commission for Infrastructure Commissioner Rogelio Singson emphasized the importance of the group as a legal mechanism to address accountability. Among those discussed is the creation of an asset recovery database to track all assets linked to suspects and identify which ones need to be reclaimed. As of today, the Anti-Money Laundering Council has already frozen 11.7 billion pesos in assets. A freeze order has also been issued for aircraft linked to former Congressman Zaldi Co, with efforts underway to repatriate these air assets from abroad. And joining us now to talk more about the role of the technical working group, we have Aboy Paraiso, Chair of the TWG of the ICI and Acting Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center. Magandang umaga sa iyo.
Magandang umaga, Gretchen. Thank you for having me in the program.
Okay, in several months, you've been shifted from the DICT to the CICC. Acting Executive Director ngayon, chairperson ka na ng Technical Working Group. Ano naman ang trabaho nitong TWG?
Well, yeah. as you said, I've been bounced around, but I think the more important work of the technical working group has been stated yesterday again. Ito ho yung coordination ng efforts ng lahat ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaan para ho maka-recover ng mga assets ng mga pinaghihinalaan at mga kinasuhang mga individual linked to the flood control scandal. But more importantly, I think our bigger role is to preserve the assets. Kung sakasakali kung magkaroon ng judgment o ang mga korte natin, may titingnan pa rin ho tayo at may aasahan pa tayong makakuha dito sa mga individual or korporasyon na to.
Out of the 11.7 billion assets frozen, how much of those could already be seized or taken in?
Well, yung mga na-seize na ho natin sa pagkakatansya ho namin nasa malayo-layo pa ho tayo, nasa around 2 billion pa lang ho yung mga nakikita natin actually frozen at tinitingnan pa natin paano mo-freeze yung ibang mga assets ng mga, again, mga individuals and corporations that were involved. I think ang trabaho talaga namin is to use our individual mandates to freeze and prevent these assets from being dissipated. So, ibig sabihin, outside the legal system, may kanya-kanya kami mga mandato. For example, the BOC when it comes to forfeiture proceedings, the AMLAC when it comes to freezing the assets and bank accounts. And other agencies are thinking of ways to have these assets preserved in case of judgments being rendered against these personalities.
Okay, can I clarify that what you said? 2 billion pa lang yung frozen, actual frozen?
Yun yung binalita kahapon. Pero we would know for sure matapos na magkaroon ng dashboard ng iba't ibang mga agencies. So everyone can see in the technical working group as well as the ICI can see yung mga ginagawa ng bawat isa at ano yung mga assets na na-recover na, ano yung mga assets frozen. So we can get a full tally. So that would be my understanding of what was actually frozen. I could be wrong, Gretchen.
Oo, pero bakit 12 billion na yung naideklara ng AMLAC that they were already able to freeze?
Baka yung pinag-uusapan kahapon or yung iba itong number na narinig ko is yung actual, baka yung additional na frozen assets. You have to remember, Gretchen, every month nag-meet kami. Now we decided every week kailangan namin mag-meet. Pero on a daily basis, may mga mag-update na sa amin from our mga representatives from individual agencies, mag-update na sa amin on a daily basis the progress of our efforts.
Okay. Someone asked, because you came from the DICT and the Cybercrime Investigation Group, why would a tech guy be put in charge of the technical working group? I do understand, though, that the vice chair is Justice Undersecretary Deo Marco. Pero help us understand, why is a tech guy heading the technical working group?
Hindi ko rin alam. Pero seriously, Gretchen, I think because of the CICC was nominated as the head of the technical working group, first and foremost, is because we're a coordinating agency, which is actually the work of the technical working group. We're not working as a new body here, but as a composition of individual agencies working together towards one goal. So that's where the coordination and investigation comes in. And I think the bigger function of the one who's trying to steer or trying to lead this technical working group really is with regards to the coordination and the digitalization of that coordination. So baka yun ho yung iniisip ng mga kasamahan natin.
Oh, okay. And this database, could this be accessed by the public?
Hindi. Kami lang ho yan. So,
Kayo lang.
so this database would be accessed by each individual agencies. And even if yung ganung bagay, hindi ho lahat ng mga data na binabato namin doon makikita ng bawat ahensya as a whole. For example, we were discussing yesterday that some of the things that AMLAC would be providing, for example, kailangan ho ni DOJ when it comes to case build-up, yung some data from the AMLAC, hindi ho lahat ng data na makikita ng lahat ng members because there are challenges and there are restrictions to what AMLAC can share. And I think it goes the same way for the BIR. So may mga restrictions din yan. Pero yung iba, yung karamihan doon sa mga ahensya na yun, for example, the DPWH, the SEC, pwede ho sila mag-data dump doon. Ibig sabihin, no, yung mga contracts ng DPWH, ilalagay na doon sa database na yun, tapos i-store na doon so anyone can access that.
Okay. And then, can you help me identify ano yung part ng 2 billion na na-freeze na?
Well, I cannot say that for certainty right now, but I'll leave that to ED Brian Osaka to mention ano yung mga part na yun.
Oo, kasi syempre for example, parte na ba nitong 2 billion na ito yung mga sasakyan na mga diskaya na nakuha at napa-auction? Kasama yon?
I think that's already part of it, yun na nagpa-auction na pero hindi pa rin kasama doon sa actual na bilang. I think solid din ng pera yung some of the personalities with the DOJ, so everything's being collated right now for a more specific number so we can update the public.
How about the air assets of Congressman Zaldico, which are under Misibis Aviation? Sinabi na magkakaroon daw ng konting challenge doon because it is not under his name but under the corporation.
Well, yeah, nagkaroon din ho ng update ang ating captain and we were discussing amongst ourselves how can we fast-track the procedures in order to bring these assets. So, pero linawin lang ho natin, meron ng freeze order dito sa mga air assets na to, at least 3 of them, na hindi na pwedeng galawin kung sino yung mga registered owners. So, we're just actually looking forward for the courts to issue the forfeiture order para madala na natin dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi that in itself, from what I understood, presents a challenge kasi nagbabayad pa ho ang ating pamahalaan ng mga hangarage noon at saka yung mga repairs no. So it's also in our interest na madalian yung pag-process ng pag-forfeit ng mga sasakyan na to.
Okay, in order for assets to be frozen, what are the legal challenges that you're facing and ano yung kinakailangan? Kailangan ba may naisampa na ng kaso?
Well, yun naman yung kagandahan ng technical working group yung ginagawa natin. No? This is outside ng mga pinafile na kaso. So there are two aspects. One is asset recovery, one is case build-up. So yung case build-up, yun yung pinagtutulong-tulungan din namin para ma-coordinate yung mga documentation para sinisiguro natin na pag halimbawa nag-file tayo ng kaso, medyo airtight na yung kaso. On the other part, yung assets recovery, as I was mentioning earlier, hindi nito kailangan na may ma-file na kaso like what happened with yung sa Bureau of Customs nung sinis nila at finorfeit nila yung mga sasakyan. Hindi not necessarily may na-file na kaso.
Wait, so what would be the basis of freezing of the assets?
So that would be based upon each individual agency's mandates. For example, yung sa Bureau of Customs I was citing as an example, it was based on forfeiture proceedings. Yung iba naman na freeze na assets, it's based on, for example, may mga nakakancel na corporations. So yun yung ginagamit natin to as basis to freeze the assets of these corporations.
Okay. I do understand that it was announced also that there was an AMLAC order freezing the bank accounts of several senators. Is that correct? Do you have that in your records?
Wala pa ho sa amin yan, hindi pa ho nai-report ni AMLAC. Again, this was discussed just yesterday. The dashboard was the beta for the dashboard was just presented yesterday. So we have 2 weeks to approve yung dashboard as well as a joint memorandum agreement for all the agencies and the ICI para naman magkaroon ng basis at saka legal standing yung corporation namin with each other.
Alam namin mabilis ka kasi magtrabaho kaya baka overnight napuyat ka doon sa kakagawa nun, ano. Hindi, pero speaking of the senators, I'm talking about Senators Joel Villanueva and Jinggoy Estrada. Would the testimonies before the Blue Ribbon Committee and the House Infracom be enough to suspend or to rather freeze their assets? Kasi kung nasabi mo na Kasi wala pang charges, ano? So how would you deal with that?
So even if that's the case, pag may nakita tayong mga basis para mag-freeze ng assets ng mga included individuals na nakikita natin na involved dito sa uh, flood control scandals na to, like I said, hindi kailangan may i-file na kaso eh. Kailangan lang tingnan namin yung mga mandato ng bawat ahensya, kung ano yung pwede namin gawin with the particular circumstances or particular pieces of evidence that we have, so we can exercise our mandates, our individual functions and powers para makapag-freeze ng assets, or kung hindi man ma-freeze yung assets, ma-forfeit talaga, tapos ma-isoli yung pera sa taong bayan.
Okay, so the main role of the technical working group is to essentially do data gathering.
Well, two. One is asset recovery, second is case build-up. When it comes to asset recovery, nakikita na ho natin yung efforts ng BOC, nakikita na rin ho natin yung efforts ng AMLAC, at makikita natin later on yung mga efforts ng ibang ahensya para makapag-preserve ng mga assets na yan. I think Sec Vince already mentioned this prior, na we're looking also at the functions and mandate of the DTI para naman pagdating sa pag-freeze at saka pag-recover ng mga assets na to. So with other agencies, nakikita rin natin dyan yung SEC can cancel the certificates of corporations para naman maging basis ng ibang ahensya para naman makapag-recover na assets. So, ganun yung trabaho, Gretchen, no? Each individual agency has a role to play. So, halimbawa, like we were mentioning, SEC, kailangan niya yan para magkaroon ng basis si AMLAC.
Hahanap kayo ng posibleng violation na na-commit
Yes.
up to this point to be able to preserve the assets para meron pa tayo makuha. But as for the case build-up efforts, what will be, but how will that effort go?
So, again, I think we're pulling in assets. Kaya nga ang particular group na mag-delete ng assets ko. Case build-up would be the DOJ. Katulong niya andyan ang Office of the Solicitor General and other agencies that have investigatorial and powers, andyan ng PNP, kasama natin. I think also the NBI would be participating in that particular effort.
But the role of the TWG in case build-up would be what exactly?
So, pag halimbawa, we would be getting directions from the ICI on who the particular individuals that we are planning to file cases. We would be assessing the documents, and we would be, kung kulang yung documentation na yun, we would be talking amongst ourselves on how to come up with that particular documentation para pag nag-file naman tayo ng kaso, more or less airtight na yung kaso.
Kumbaga, all the nitty-gritty is in your hands. Okay, we hope you get more sleep with the roles that you're playing now. A very, very essential work to actually getting justice in all these investigations. Maraming salamat for joining us this morning. The newly appointed chairperson of the Technical Working Group and acting executive director of the Cybercrime Investigation Division of the DICT. Maraming salamat, Aboy Paraiso.
Maraming salamat, Gretchen. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back after a quick break. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian disagreed with the Department of Trade and Industry's claim that the 500 peso budget is enough for a family's Noche Buena, calling it unrealistic. Gatchalian noted that families celebrate differently, but a budget of only 100 pesos per person for a 5-member household would fall short of essential holiday preparations. Now, despite this, he acknowledged that inflation has remained under 2% under the Marcos administration. He stressed that maintaining low and consistent inflation is crucial to avoid adding to the public's financial burden.
Definitely, hindi kasya yan dahil kung we're talking about family of 5, tapos divide mo 5, di 100 pesos per person. So tingin ko parang hindi realistic yung 500 peso for a family of 5. Typically nga, ang Noche Buena pa, mas malaki pa. So, hindi realistic yan. But ang Noche Buena rin kasi, on the other side man, iba-ibang tao, iba-ibang paraan nagse-celebrate ng Noche Buena. Pero kung igagawin mo yung pinaka-basic lang, no? 500 divided by 5 persons, that's 100. Tapos ang Noche Buena concept natin ay diba, celebration. Tingin ko baka hindi kakayanin yan 500 pesos.
Let's discuss this controversial 500 peso budget for the Noche Buena. We are joined by Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation Secretary Larry Gadon. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, magandang umaga Miss Gretchen and magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga viewers and listeners.
Okay, Secretary, kayo ho ba, naniniwala po kayo na ang 500 pesos ay sapat na raw para sa Noche Buena?
Hindi naman tinatawag na sapat, kundi pwede. Kasi I tried to budget a 500 Noche Buena set and I asked my yaya to buy for some groceries. And nagkasya naman, yung isang set nga is 476 pesos, yung isa naman ay 480 something. And kumpleto na yun merong spaghetti, merong ham luncheon meat, merong spaghetti sauce, merong cake, cheese, and merong fruit cocktail and creme binsada. And meron pang yung crab and corn soup and one sachet of bang. Wala lang akong chance kanina had I known that this will be asked, then I should have sent the photos and the computation of the sets that my yaya have prepared. Pwede naman, para sa ibang pamilya kasi, what is more important is that they are having a Noche Buena and they are together, they are bonding together, and yung spirit of Christmas, yun yung maramdaman nila. Hindi naman kinakailangan na talagang magarbo ang Noche Buena Meron ka lang bread, noodles, pasta, and soup, a luncheon meat, or meron pang isang set na ginawa yung pure food sa sweet ham. Kasya yung 500. Of course, for the other families, siguro para sa kanila hindi sapat yun. They would probably budget around 2,000 to 3,000, which is still simple.
Well, Secretary, sabi po ng iba, pagdating sa Pasko, gusto natin maramdaman kahit papano may sense of abundance. Hindi po ba matinding pagtitiis po ito? Kumbaga parang bare minimum po yung mabibili mo dun sa 500 pesos as opposed to kahit papano isang gabi, magtitipon po kayo, medyo makakakain po ng matiwasay ang isang pamilyang Pilipino. Pero dun sa nabanggit niyo po, wala pa po yung yung iba pang usually na parte ng Noche Buena. Yung kumbaga extra dishes, no? What would you say to that? Kasi sabi ng iba, okay, pwede nga, kaya nga. Pero ito ba yung gusto nyong klaseng Pasko para sa mga Pilipino?
Of course, hindi naman. Siyempre gusto ko mas marangya pa rin yung Kaya lang, for some families kasi, this kind of feast is already something that they would appreciate. And for them, what is more important is that they are celebrating the birth of Christ. Yun yung importante, that magsama-sama sila. And it's not every night na kumakain sila ng sabay-sabay ng merong luncheon meat or ham, and with bread, with cheese, and with fruit salad, and with spaghetti. Hindi naman gabi-gabi nila kinakain yan eh. So this is still something that can be made as cause for celebration.
Of course, naintindihan po natin yung galit ng mga Pilipino, no, because this statement was released alongside the flood control probe, where people are saying that if you want Filipino families to be content with 500 pesos for Noche Buena, paano naman napapayagan kaya yung bilyon-bilyon na piso na nakukurakot po dito sa flood control projects? What would you have to say to that? Secretary? Secretary, are you still there? Looks like we lost the signal. I will try to reconnect and get in touch with Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation, Secretary Larry Gadon. We'll get back. But in the meantime, here's another story. President Bongbong Marcos has ordered the reinstatement and promotion of a Philippine Army officer who was previously forced to retire after losing his sight in a grenade blast while on duty. Captain Jerome Hakuba, who had been placed under a complicated disability discharge, will now be promoted to major and assigned to adaptive duties that match his 15 years of military experience.
Ito ay isang opisyal na itinaya na nga niya ang buhay niya para sa duty na, para ipagtanggol ang Pilipinas. At dahil sa ganyan, ay basta't bibitawan na lang natin, ay hindi naman yata makatarungan yan.
Marcos said the move recognizes Hakuba's bravery and sacrifice, stressing that soldiers injured in the line of duty should continue to receive support and opportunities to serve. The president also directed the Department of National Defense to review and update disability discharge rules to better protect service members.
Gagawa po tayo ng bagong pulisiya sa CDD sa lalong madaling panahon. Ito ay para sa lahat ng ating mga sundalo na dahil sa ka-duty nila sila ay nasaktan, sila ay nagka-injury, ay dapat naman patuloy din ang ating pagkilala sa kanilang katapangan at sa kanilang sakripisyo.
Vice President Sara Duterte has vowed to continue fighting the greed of high-ranking officials in government. That's a statement she made while presenting her office's year-end report. Duterte's remarks come as the flood control scandal continues to widen, linking several officials, including lawmakers and even President Bongbong Marcos. Even the Vice President herself has faced allegations of misusing DepEd and OVP funds from 2022 to 2024. And in her year-end report, Duterte positioned OVP programs as proof it delivered services despite a budget cut.
Mga kababayan, patuloy tayong lalaban sa kasakiman ng mga iilang mataas na opisyal ng ating pamahalaan. Patuloy namin na ipapakita sa inyo na ang tanggapan ng pangalawang Pangulo ay mahalaga sa amin ang pagkakaroon ng plano, mahusay na implementasyon ng proyekto, paglaban sa korupsyon at tapang at malasakit para magkaroon ng kapayapaan at kaunlaran sa ating bayan.
On the day, Duterte presented her office's accomplishment report. The Bagong Alyansang Makabayan or Bayan says it is studying a new impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte once the one-year filing ban expires in February. Now let's get back to Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation Secretary Larry Gadon. Can you hear us now, Secretary?
Yes, Miss Gretchen, I can hear you now clearly.
Okay, iulitin ko lang ho yung tanong ko, kasi sabi po ng mga Pilipino, bakit ho hahayaan ng gobyerno na magtiis ang mga Pilipino sa 500 pesos Noche Buena, samantalang nalulunod ang maraming politiko sa bilyong-bilyong piso nalulustay at nawawala dahil sa korupsyon. What would you have to say to that?
Well, the government doesn't want that. If those politicians are greedy, then that's a problem. But what I'm trying to say is that the government controls the prices. And in fact, we have been for the one straight year, we have maintained a below 3% initially at the start of the year. An inflation rate of below 3%. And now, in the past several months, we have maintained an inflation rate of 1.7. Now, in the last 2 months, 1.3. And if you will only go to groceries and supermarkets, you will really notice that the basic items did not really go up. Alam mo kasi, Gretchen, ako nag-grocery ako, namamalengke ako eh. Kaya I can notice it. So, makikita mo na hindi naman hirap na hirap ang mga tao eh. In fact, maganda ang sitwasyon kasi natin. Aside from keeping the inflation rate at low, we have a 96.2% employment rate, which is the highest in 20 years. That is why people have purchasing power. Kaya yung kung meron mang inflation, which you cannot really avoid, the availability of spending power makes it balanced.
Okay, you mentioned purchasing power of Filipinos amid the low inflation rates. Tama po kayo, no? Mababa po ang inflation po natin, nasa 1.5 to 1.7% po yan in the past year, in the past months. But isn't purchasing power measured vis-a-vis the cost of living also? Yung wage versus cost of living. Pero ang sweldo po hindi po tumaas. Tumaas po, kukunti lamang. At nasa 695 pesos a day po siya sa ngayon, yung minimum wage. Well below what other groups say is the living wage is nasa 1,300 o 1,000 plus per day. So, kung in short, meron nga pong trabaho, pero yung sahod, hindi po kasing bilis ng pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin, which actually happens every year. So, to say that people have purchasing power now because inflation has cooled, isn't that an overestimate?
Hindi naman, kasi if you will use the previous administration's performance as compared to the performance of this administration when it comes to keeping the inflation low and creating jobs, well, you really cannot say that the wages can really give them comfort and luxury. For some people, making it everyday, they can make both ends meet. That is already enough. That is an improvement from the time of the pandemic period, and even prior to pandemic. In fact, a lot of people are now saying that our situation now, our economic situation now, is much better even prior to the pandemic. And I am not saying this by myself. There are data to show. Like we have a GDP growth of 5.8%, which is the highest, or one of the highest in Asia. And I did not say this by myself. The World Bank, no less than the World Bank, has declared that the Philippines is the second fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia and one of the highest in Asia. So, ano yan hindi naman pwedeng puro tayo negative ang pagtingin We have to look at the positive things that are happening also.
Oo. And taking a look at inflation, if you take a look at it the numbers, hindi lang naman po siya din yung it could also signal other things, like for example low consumer spending. Marami po nagsasabi ngayong panahon ng Christmas season ay marami pong ayaw gumastos, so ayaw pakawalan yung pera nila kasi nga marami nangangamba sa maaaring mangyari. The stock market is down. It could also be a reason for inflation to be down.
Well, makikita mo naman na Miss Gretchen, na pag nagpunta ka ng mga mall, punong-puno ang mga mall kahit nga ordinary days, not only weekends, no? Napakaraming mga tao sa mall na kumakain. Ang mga restaurants, if you will check the fast foods, the fast food chains, punong-puno sila palagi. And kung makikita mo, ang another indication is that of the purchasing power of the Filipinos is the Philippine Motor Associations have reported that we have a sales now in 2024, the whole year, every month of 38,000 vehicles and 10,000 private cars and 28,000 commercial vehicles, which means that the trade in commerce is very dynamic and robust, and that is an indication that the economy is growing. And makikita mo ang mga bangko nag-report ng 7% increase in savings. And the conglomerates like SM Investments, Ayala, DMCI, all of them, San Miguel, all of them have reported a higher income compared to the pandemic and even prior to the pandemic, which means that the economy is expanding and improving. The SMM, micro and the small medium enterprises are being given technical and financial support that they created a lot of jobs. Do you know that around 96%, about 95% of our jobs are in the sector of micro and small and medium enterprises? This is how we did it. This is how President Bongbong Marcos did it to expand the economy.
I think there needs to be
kaibahan and
some more nuancing there in those numbers, no? To be able to see really the economic development and economic growth, kasi there are other factors alongside. For example, the auto sales, kasama po dun yung financial easier terms being offered, but it does not mean automatically po na mas maraming pera ang Pilipino. But how does this translate? All of this translate to the poverty rate, which you are in charge of as Poverty Alleviation Secretary. We had a 12 to 13% poverty rate at the start of the year. Are we on track for the goals for 2025?
Yes, we are on track of meeting the target of President Bongbong Marcos of at least 9% by the end of this term. And you have to remember that when we started, this administration started with 18% poverty rate. And now it's and only after 2 years of President Bongbong Marcos administration, we were able to cut it in 15%. And now we haven't received the final data from the PSA, but our estimate is around 13%. So patuloy na yan. By the end of the term of President Bongbong Marcos, we will be able to get or arrive at the target of at least 9%. And makikita mo naman you can check this, our per capita income has increased. And in fact, by the middle of 2026 or early part of 2027, we may be able to hit the UMIC status already. Malaki ang kaibahan ng degree of income ngayon ng mga tao kumpara no dati. And in fact, even the Makati Business Club, which is traditionally against or anti-Marcos, they admitted that the economic progress now is much better. And in fact, they are praising the economic team of President Bongbong Marcos. Imagine, sabi nga nila, despite all the hardships, we were able to hit the 5.8% GDP growth, and that we have maintained for the past few months below 2% inflation rate. Pinupuri nga ng mga ating business ang Marcos administration. In fact, dati yan, puro mga anti-Marcos yan. But now, they have to admit that we are really doing good.
Okay, which programs are at the forefront of government to fight against poverty?
Again, please. Which?
Ano po mga programa po ng inyong opisina to be able to reach the poverty rate goals?
Yeah, okay. Since our social protection programs being implemented by the DSWD is very good already, Secretary Rex Gatchalian is hands-on, and he is really good in implementing the social protection programs of the government. What I do now is my office is to complement the further pursuit of lowering the poverty rate by helping in lowering the logistics or the operational cost of the state colleges and universities and the DOH operated hospitals by installing solar power systems without using government funds. Just recently, the Cavite State University, which is composed of 13 campuses all over the province of Cavite, have signed an agreement of a contract with my investor without using government funds. Walang gastos ang gobyerno dito. We will be installing 2 billion worth of 2 billion pesos worth of solar power installations in all the campuses of Cavite State University. And last year, we were able to install in all campuses of Bataan Peninsula State University the same system of solar power. Why am I doing this? Malaki matitipid nila sa operational cost sa kanilang mga power requirements, and the savings can be used for their primary purpose. The same thing with the DOH hospitals. Just recently, about 3 weeks ago, the PPP Center of the Department of Development have approved my project of installing solar power system to at least 3 pilot hospitals, the biggest hospitals owned by the DOH. And this will lower the operational cost for electricity, and the savings can be used for the primary purpose, which is healthcare. And alam mo, ang poverty naman is not only about food. Hindi naman yung basta ayuda lang, kundi you have to think about it as a whole, education and healthcare. And all of these are included in combating poverty. And that is what I'm doing. And remember, Miss Gretchen, itong na-install na namin at saka itong i-install dito sir would cost around 5 billion. And I am not using government funds here. This is also a proof that the private investors are very much willing to help the government. Hindi totoo yung sinasabi nila na walang gustong mag-invest. Well, sometimes ang FDIs kasi, it really goes up and down. Hindi naman pwedeng pantay-pantayan eh. Pag sinabi ng halimbawa nila na bumaba ang FDI this month, it doesn't mean na nawala. Kung kukumpara mo sa, let's say, kung last month merong 100 million at ngayon ay nagkaroon na 85 million, it doesn't mean na nawala. Nadagdagan pa rin, kaya lang not on the level of the previous months or on a year-to-year comparison. But the thing is, the investments are continuously pouring in.
Secretary, we share your desire for an optimistic outlook for the economy. We hope talagang it is on an upward trend. Para matuwa naman po yung mga investors po natin. But I think we'll leave it here kasi we don't have time. But thank you so much for joining us this morning and for giving us an update and a comment on the 500 peso Noche Buena. We have Secretary Larry Gadon, Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation.
Thank you, Ms. Gretchen, and good morning to everybody.
And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.